It sounds strange, even uncomfortable to say this, but one of the things the Nazis did was restore family values. They spoke about mothers, children, discipline, and unity. They told Germans they were building a moral society. But behind this picture of purity was something dark, manipulative, and deeply tragic. Before we continue, I invite you to stay with me to the end, because this story isn't about praising evil. It's about understanding how good intentions can be twisted, how family values can be used as tools of control. If you find history fascinating, make sure to subscribe for more stories like this. When Adolf Hitler rose to power in the 1930s, Germany was broken. The First World War had left millions grieving. The economy was in ruins. People had lost faith, not just in their government, but in themselves. Families were fractured, young men were jobless, and the sense of national identity had faded. The Nazis promised something simple yet powerful: a return to order. They spoke of moral renewal. They said the chaos of modernity, feminism, liberalism, and changing gender roles had destroyed the German home. The propaganda machine promised a revival. Fathers would be strong, mothers nurturing, and children obedient and proud. At first glance, it seemed like an effort to heal a wounded society. But the deeper purpose was control. The Nazi regime didn't just promote family values, they redefined them. The ideal family wasn't about love or emotional well-being. It was about service to the state. A good German family existed to strengthen the folk, the pure German race. Marriage was no longer a personal union. It became a duty. Couples were encouraged, even pressured, to have many children, especially sons, to serve in the army. The more children you had, the more medals and benefits you received. Motherhood was glorified to a near-religious level. Women were told their highest honor was to bear children for Germany. The Nazi slogan was simple: Kinder, Küche, Kirche, children, kitchen, church. It might have sounded wholesome, but it came with heavy restrictions. Women were pushed out of professions, universities, and public roles. Their value was measured by fertility, not intellect. In short, the Nazis didn't restore family, they weaponized it. In Nazi Germany, being a mother wasn't just a private choice, it was a political act. The regime introduced awards like the Mother's Cross, given to women who bore multiple, racially pure children. A bronze medal for 4 kids, silver for 6, and gold for 8 or more. It looked like national pride. In truth, it was social engineering. Women who couldn't or didn't want children faced judgment. They were labeled selfish or unpatriotic. But even worse, not all mothers were treated equally. Jewish mothers, Roma mothers, disabled mothers, their children were seen as undesirable. The same regime that celebrated motherhood also sterilized thousands of women and murdered countless children deemed unfit. So yes, the Nazis talked about family values. But their values only applied to a select few. In the Nazi worldview, the father was the ultimate authority, both in the home and in society. He was the provider, the enforcer, the loyal servant of the Führer. The family structure mirrored the political hierarchy: father at the top, children beneath, mother supporting, and the Führer above all. Children were taught to respect their fathers the way they were told to revere Hitler. School books and posters portrayed men as soldiers, workers, and leaders. They were taught that strength was moral and compassion was weakness. This rigid structure destroyed emotional bonds. Affection was seen as softness. Individual thought was replaced by obedience. The Nazis didn't build strong families. They built factories of loyalty. To fully control the family, the Nazis knew they needed the hearts of the children. The Hitlerjugend, Hitler Youth for boys, and the Bund Deutscher Mädel, League of German Girls for girls, became mandatory. On the surface, these were youth clubs: hiking, singing, camping, and sports. But beneath that, they were training grounds for ideology. Boys were taught to be brave, ruthless, and unquestioning. Girls were taught to be modest, obedient, and fertile. Children began to see Hitler as a father figure, the true head of the family. Many were even encouraged to report their parents if they spoke against the regime. Imagine that, the bond between parent and child, deliberately poisoned by politics. What began as a return to family values became a mechanism to replace family loyalty with party loyalty. Propaganda was the invisible glue that held it all together. Every poster, film, and radio broadcast reinforced the same message. Germany's strength comes from its families. Smiling mothers with blonde children, proud fathers in uniforms, fields of wheat and fresh-faced boys waving flags. It was comforting. It made people feel proud, useful, and united. But this illusion had a purpose: to hide the cruelty behind the curtain. While families smiled on posters, real families were being torn apart in concentration camps. While children sang patriotic songs, Jewish and disabled children were being erased from existence. It's one of history's most chilling contradictions: evil disguised as virtue. You might wonder, how could so many intelligent, moral people fall for this? The answer lies in emotion. The Nazis understood human psychology. They knew that after years of chaos, people longed for stability. They missed traditional roles, clear rules, and the comfort of belonging. So they offered it. They promised safety, pride, and purpose. They spoke of faith and morality, but they redefined both to serve their agenda. It wasn't just propaganda, it was therapy for a broken nation. And that's why many didn't resist. It felt good. It felt right, until it was too late to see the cost. When the war ended in 1945, Germany lay in ruins again. Millions of families destroyed, children orphaned, women widowed. The same government that promised to protect the home had sent sons to die and daughters to grieve. The myth of restoring family values crumbled. What remained was trauma. Many survivors later admitted that they believed they were doing the right thing, that they were building something noble. And that's what makes this story so haunting. It reminds us that evil doesn't always arrive with a snarl. Sometimes it smiles. Sometimes it speaks softly about love, honor, and family. When we hear leaders or movements talk about restoring values, it's worth listening, but also questioning. History teaches us that ideals like family and morality can be used as powerful tools for good, or as weapons to divide and control. The Nazis showed us how easily noble words can be twisted when they're used to define who deserves love and who doesn't. So yes, one of the things the Nazis did was restore family values, but they did it by destroying the very soul of what family truly means: compassion, equality, and unconditional care. History isn't comfortable. It's not supposed to be. But when we look at stories like this with honesty, we learn the most important lesson of all. Never let anyone use love as a weapon. Because the moment that happens, family stops being sacred and becomes a tool for control.